It's not going to be easy to identify. It's not going to be easy to figure out. It's not going to be obvious. You're going to have to do some digging and some work and some analysis.
This is the How to Quit Working Show. Jeff Steinman believes entrepreneurship is the only true path to freedom. That's why he created the How to Quit Working Show, where you'll hear stories, insights, and inspiration from lifestyle fanatics who left their soul-sucking 9-to-5 job forever. Now, here's your host, author, entrepreneur, and ultimate lifestyle fanatic, Jeff Steinman.
Hello and welcome to the How to Quit Working Show. Today we're going to talk about something that is really important, and that is how to make progress. How do you make progress in your business or anything that you're trying to accomplish in life? How do you put one foot in front of the other and actually do the things that you have to do in order to be successful at everything that you want in life? And believe me, you deserve it, and you probably have no idea what is actually possible if you put one foot in front of the other and make stuff happen. Going to be a great show. I hope you stay with us for all of that. Before we get into the meat of the topic, I just want to remind you, as I always do, about the How to Quit Working Circle. And the How to Quit Working Circle is where people like you go if you'd like some support and encouragement and a community of people and some free training on how to quit your job and start a business. So go over to howtoquitworking.com/circle and jump in the circle. I would love to see you in there. And by the way, did I mention that it is all completely free? howtoquitworking.com/circle. I will see you in the circle. Now let's get down to the specifics that we want to talk about today, and that is how to make progress. And I think that the first thing that I want to say, and I want to preface this whole episode with the notion that being successful, whatever it is that you want, however it is that you define success, and I always talk about success in very loose terms because it's not my idea to tell you what success is. There's a lot of other folks out there in the space who very much define success around money. And there's nothing wrong with money. There's nothing wrong with wanting money. There's nothing wrong with wanting lots of money, because I know that the really cool, ethical, and very caring and giving and loving people that follow How to Quit Working and listen to the show and watch the videos are people who are going to do nothing but good with the money. And when you really look at, when I talk to coaching clients or people who reach out to me, it's always about, I want to have money so that I can do this good thing with it. And by the way, I like to drive a nice car while I do that as well. And there's nothing wrong with that. I do think it's important, well, I know that it's important, that money not be the driver for the thing that you do. And it's difficult because we are a society that has this really weird relationship with money. We think on one hand that we want it. We also think that it's the root of all evil. We also think that we can't really have it. We don't really believe that we can attain financial success. We have so many hang-ups, and I've done many shows on that before, and we'll probably do more in the future. But I think my point is that I just want to frame it up around, when I say be successful, it's about whatever success means to you. And money is an important tool along the way, but that can't be the focus. And you're generally not successful when money is the focus. And I've had a couple of conversations over the past week with folks, and it's so evident that when you consume a lot of this online business training and listen to podcasts and read books, there's so much talk and so much emphasis on money, when in reality that can't be the emphasis, because it's not a big enough motivator for people. Money does not motivate people. We say it does, we think it does, we say all these ridiculous things, but at the end of the day, it's just not enough to push you forward. There has to be something bigger and better there. And yes, you want to leverage money for that bigger and better thing, And but I think that it's so important to remember that that's not the motivator. The motivator that you've got to keep turned on in your mind is that bigger thing. What does that really, really mean for you? What is success for you? And that is a whole different topic, but I did want to start by framing it up that way. And it's just something that I've been thinking about a lot lately, and I've been hearing from a lot of folks about that. And that's an issue that sometimes I'm able to see that when you're in the thick of it, you can't actually see it. It's one of the huge benefits of working with a coach is that they can see what's going on with you because we have that objective viewpoint that is not clouded by your own mental stuff that's going on. So as we talk about making progress, keep that bigger thing in mind, that bigger thing that you want in mind. I have my bigger thing, and I'm a firm believer that there is no secret formula to finding your passion. There's no secret formula for figuring out what the one big thing is in your life. And there's plenty of people that would love to sell you their 3-step process for that. But the reality of it is it's an ongoing life journey. I've made a lot of progress myself, particularly in the past 12 months with getting much more clear on what that big thing is for me. But I also know that it's going to evolve over the next 12 months. It's going to evolve over the rest of however long I am alive and walking around on this planet. So keep that in mind, and keep in mind that if you don't understand what that is fully, that it's a process of figuring it out, and it is a process that will never end. It is a process that will continue and continue and continue to evolve. In fact, when you look at successful people, you see that there's often large shifts in their businesses or in their lives and in what they're focused on. They might focus on one thing for a while, and then they have some success in that, and then they have, because they've achieved that success and because they've learned so much from it, they then look on to the next thing. And this happens to people sometimes, at all ages, just depending on where you're at on your journey, but it continues to happen. As I know people in their 60s and 70s who are reaching that point of shift in their life, and those shifts are something that just continue to happen all throughout your life, and you certainly have to focus on the journey of learning more about yourself, learning more about what's important to you, learning about how you can leverage your talents and gifts in the world, and use that, yes, to make money, but also use it to have the experiences that you want in life. And one of the things that I try really hard with How to Quit Working to do is to not prescribe anything, right? I mean, there's a lot of folks out there that will prescribe this is, real estate is the way for you to be successful. Real estate's the way for you to have everything that you've ever wanted in life. Or online marketing is the way for you to have everything you've ever wanted in life. Or MLM is the way for you to have everything that you've ever wanted in life. And the reality of it is, that's a journey that each and every one of us has to have individually. And it's a journey that you have to embrace, because if you don't embrace it, it will drive you absolutely insane. You will be frustrated, and it will drive you nuts trying to figure out what that thing is, or what the right thing is to do, what the right way is to go. So let me get down into some more specifics on how to make progress. And the first thing that I want to point out or ask you to take a look at as you're trying to make progress towards your goals is, number one, where have you already had success in life? And this is such an important and often overlooked aspect of starting a business. But you have to look at, what have I done in my life that has been successful? And the first thing that we tend to do is we tend to sell our accomplishments short. We tend to say something like, yeah, well, I did that, but it's not really that big of a deal. I did that, and it's not that big of a deal because it's not as big as this other person did, or it's not as successful as this. But when we look at our lives and the things that we've accomplished, there is always something out there. And I don't know, it may be a sport that you played. It may be some not-for-profit work that you've done. It may be something that you've done in a job capacity, in a corporate job or any other sort of job. There's always something that you have accomplished that many people have not even come close to accomplishing. So look at where in your life have you excelled beyond a vast majority of other people. Don't get caught in the trap of downplaying that success because it's not as good as this other person, right? It's not as good as this other person who was doing something similar. It didn't have as much success as this. Don't get caught up in that. Compare yourself not to the most successful people in that arena, but compare yourself rather to the masses. Because when we compare ourselves to the masses and just look at just your friends and family and the people around you, your coworkers, the people that you know, the people that you've met, and look at where have you excelled in a way that they have not. And one of the clues that gives us is that gives us a clue as to where does the world sort of recognize our talents, right? Where does the world look at us and say, you know what, you're different than everybody else in this way, and you're able to do this better than other people. So look at those accomplishments and those achievements that you've had and to get really clear on what they are. Now, the second thing that I would ask you to do is to take a look at how you can relate those accomplishments and those achievements to your goal, to the thing that you're trying to accomplish. Most of the folks listening to this show or watching this video are trying to start a business. So maybe that's your goal. Maybe it's something else. I don't know. But whatever that goal is, look at those accomplishments and those achievements and say, okay, how can I relate them to this? This requires a lot of really free thinking, right? You really have to, because let's say you had a lot of success in college baseball, right? So you, maybe you weren't the best player in the entire world, but maybe you were one of the better ones. And look at that from the standpoint of, okay, I was one of the better baseball players in my college baseball career. No, I wasn't the best, okay, and that's fine. Doesn't really matter if you're the best. But when you look at that and look at how many other people achieved that level of success in college baseball, you will find that most didn't, right? Most of the people did not even come anywhere near that level of success that you had. And again, college baseball is one example. I don't even know why I picked that as an example, but there is something in your life that you have done that you have achieved more success. So you have to look at how you can relate that to your current goal. And like I said, this requires a lot of really creative thinking because the answer to that question of how does college baseball relate to this business that I'm starting? Well, there's no obvious answer, probably. There's probably not an obvious answer, which is why you have to really get under the covers of it and you have to really analyze it and figure out, what was I really good at? What was it? Was it the consistency with which I practiced? Was it the amount of learning and study that I did? Was it the relationships that I had with the other people on the team and I was kind of able to bring people together and I was able to make the whole team work well together, and that was a way in which I was able to excel in that thing. And it, like I said, it's something that you really have to break it down because it's probably not about baseball. It's probably about some underlying skills or some underlying strengths that you have that you probably don't even recognize. You probably don't even realize that you have them. But if you really dissect what made me successful in that thing, you will find some really powerful core skills. One of the things that I've been working on over the years is looking at what are the things that I am really, really good at. And the things that you're really, really good at tend to be the things that you undervalue the most. And I think that's so interesting because the fact is you're just really good at them. So you do them really well without even thinking about it or without even trying that hard. And those are the skills that you have to leverage as much as you possibly can in anything that you want to accomplish. So you have to look at the underlying skills that got you to the successes that you've had in the past, and you have to figure out how to apply those to the latest effort that you're doing. And it will not be simple and it will not be obvious. You will not look at it and say, oh, I see exactly what he's talking about. I need to do this, this, and this. It's not going to be that simple. It's not going to be that straightforward. It's not going to be that obvious. It's going to be something that you have to really work on over time and figuring out what is it that worked really well here and allowed me to be really successful in that particular thing that I achieved success in at some point in my life. And then finally, the third step is once you've identified those things, you have to make them the core of everything that you do. Being successful in this world is not easy. It is absolutely not easy. And it requires having a lot of conversations, and it requires really, really getting yourself out there and doing it in a way that is very powerful and really appeals to people. So because of that, because it is so difficult, and I hope you appreciate the fact that I come on to this video and this podcast and say, yeah, it's really, really hard, and I hope that you appreciate that level of candor that I bring to everything that we do here at How to Quit Working, because I think it's something that is much, much more needed in the world, and not enough people are doing it. Too many folks are trying to tell you how easy it is and how much easier it would be if you just bought their $2,000 training course or tool. Because of the fact, and that was a bit of a tangent, but because of the fact that it's so hard, you have to be firing on all cylinders. You have to be doing the best work that you can possibly do. You have to be doing the most effective work that you can possibly do, and you have to be doing it in a way that leverages all of your specific talents and all of the things that come easy to you, because when you're doing the things that come easier to you than the other things that don't come so easy to you, then you're able to be so much more effective. And just as a practical matter, most of the folks who listen to this show, and I get your emails, I talk to you, I know you in general, maybe not you personally, but I know the general type of person, but many of the people who listen have families, or they are married, and almost all of the people who listen to the show have a full-time job. And what that means is that you don't have a lot of time left over. You don't have time to be struggling to figure out and do things that you're not particularly good at. And yes, it's wonderful to get better at things that you're not good at. I don't want to downplay that. That's a great thing. It's very rewarding. It's very valuable in life. But you also have to remember that with your limited time and with the monumental task that is in front of you, efficiency is incredibly important. So you have to figure out, what are those things that I can do most efficiently because I am very, very good at them. They come very easily to me and they get me big results. So just to recap, number one, identify the successes that you have had in the past, whatever that may be, whenever that was, wherever it was, however it was, and don't tell me there aren't any, because you have done things that other people have not done. There is no question about it. Number two, look at the attributes, the things about you and the things about the way you approach that thing that made you successful. It's not going to be easy to identify. It's not going to be easy to figure out. It's not going to be obvious. You're going to have to do some digging and some work and some analysis to really figure out what those things are. And always remember, the thing that you accomplished is probably just a result of all of these other things that you leveraged in order to be successful there. And then finally, figure out how to work those talents and those things that you did very successfully into your current efforts, whatever it is that you're trying to achieve, because you don't have time to do anything that is not that you can't do super effectively and efficiently and get great results really quickly, not however easily probably, because these things do take time and there's a whole lot to it and it is not easy. I hope that that was helpful. This is one of those concepts that when I started doing How to Quit Working a couple years ago, there's no way that I could have explained this, because part of my journey has been learning and understanding these things for myself, as well as learning and understanding how these things relate to other people's experiences. So I'm really happy to be able to bring this sort of content to you, because understanding these sorts of things is what has accounted for most of the success that I have had, and not leveraging these ideas and concepts are the things that have accounted for most of the not so successful things that have happened to me, because I have had many of those things that have not worked out the way I would have hoped. Now, if you're ready to get really serious about pursuing your goals, creating a business, creating the life that you want, you have a couple of options. The first thing that I would suggest is that you go check out the Kickstart program. You can get more information about that over at howtoquitworking.com/kickstart. We actually walk you through some exercises and some processes in that help you to identify what are those things that you're really good at and how do you leverage those into a business that will work for you. And one of the things that we never do in How to Quit Working in any shape, form, or fashion is we never try to force you into a business model. We're not the guy that comes and says real estate is the answer to all of your problems, or online marketing is the answer to all of your problems. We are the folks that come to you and say, let's help you figure out what the right thing is for you. And that's what we do in the Kickstart program. More about that at howtoquitworking.com/kickstart. And that is under $100. So we do make that affordable, and so that we don't want price to be an objection for you there. So it's a great way to make really great progress at a very low price point. Now, if you really would like some one-on-one attention and you'd like to get involved in a coaching relationship, go over to howtoquitworking.com/coaching and provide a little bit of information. Then we'll jump on Skype or on the phone or whatever works, and we will talk about whether that might be a fit for you or something that will work for you. I don't have to sell coaching, and that is one of the things that I really love about the way I've structured my life in this business. Is I don't have to coach anyone. It's not a primary revenue stream for me. It is something, however, that gives me a tremendous amount of personal fulfillment when I can be paired with the right person who I can really help to make huge results in a much shorter time frame than you would have on your own, because I've gotten really good at being able to identify the things that are holding you back and the things that are stopping you from being successful. So more information over at howtoquitworking.com/coaching. I look forward to seeing you in Kickstart, maybe talking about coaching, or maybe just seeing you next time on the How to Quit Working Show.
Thanks for joining us on the How to Quit Working Show. Tune in next time when we'll talk to another amazing person just like you, who is now living the ultimate life of freedom and doing it on their terms. If you want to learn how to quit working and get these episodes delivered directly to you, visit howtoquitworkingshow.com.